can I explain the book? It's just a book, it's just pages, it's just images printed one side to the other, and you open it and it has a title, and you see people, and you see names, and you say, I like this one, I don't like that one. And you interact with it because you go over there, you come back and say, oh shit, that remembers me the other one I've seen 4 pages behind. It's just a game. The book is just like a kind of a game. You know? And on the other hand, obviously it's something that you show from 15 years of work, but it's only the beginning. My problem explaining this book is that everybody sees it as a final product. It's just you got a book that says, no, this is just the first step of something that I don't know where it's going to finish, something that I completely have no idea, and I don't want to know either. I just want to do it and see what comes at the end. The book is, in a way, is for me to show me that how much it weighs the project, you know, how much I don't know how to explain it. It's just basically I don't know how to explain anything about the project. I don't know if I explain it, I probably wouldn't do it, wouldn't be doing it. Because the book it came out of the blue in a way. I just one decided practically in the same day, okay, let's do a book. I needed to show something, I only had a website. And then the originals in my place, but obviously that's too big to show. So the best way would be to do a book. The book, we thought what a book represents. You know, a book is something that is there and is supposed to stay. Once you have a book, people that is in the book, they're on a book. And I wanted something, although it's not a normal book, you cannot do this project in a normal book because of how I did the portraits on vertical and portrait, so it's very difficult to find something that suits, and it obliges us to do the size of the book when we decided to do the book.
Antonio, where's your phone?
Yeah, I made them bigger.
Better.
I took all the white around and it looked much nicer.
You know I was going to ask you to do that next.
My connection with Antonio, well, he came to me like 6 years ago through another artist friends of mine, asking me just if I allowed him to take a portrait of me. He told me about this project, blah, blah, blah. So he came to my studio. Literally, he took 4 photos of me in 1 minute. And he said, it's okay, that's fine. And I said, well, great. A few days later, he came with my photo. I am here. So he gave me this photo. And I thought, wow, I really like it. That is me. It's very me. So, and this is what I did. That is the version I did of myself. Because by then I was working in a series of paintings about the coyote and myself and the desert. And well, what I didn't obviously even dreamt by then is that I was, 6 years later, I was gonna be here launching this book and also launching my own gallery, which has been a very all of the sudden project, which has taken a year and a half to be completed. I never expected to have my own gallery. I just decided to do it because I did.
Nah, you that. You know, it's just been out of laziness.
It's much nicer.
It's mainly it's just so much work. You need to go one by one. We thought what a book represents. You know, a book is something that is there and is supposed to stay. Once you have a book, people that is in the book, they're on a book. And I wanted something, although it's not a normal book, you cannot do this project in a normal book because of how I did the portraits on vertical and portraits, so it's very difficult to find something that suits, and it obliges us to do the size of the book when we decide to do the book.
Where is my wide-away camera? My camera. Is that your mobile?
Yes.
I help Kathmandu Contemporary Art Center as a volunteer.
Okay.
And where he is going to Nepal, that's my country. I'm going to launch another book over there. I'm quite interested to see all this picture. And I have told him, although I'm not an artist, is he going to take and do something like this amazing thing for my... Let's see.
So when I do it in Nepal, we're going to have this video going on.
Brilliant. I love that idea.
I have a book, I have a show. It's playing more, the whole process.
Yeah. It's brilliant to have those things.
And,
People will not feel bored who are not artists or who don't know much about self-portrait.
no, I really think it's going to be nice to work from the artist because it's new for them and it's new for me.
Both of them are having an experience of their lifetime.
I will stay there. I will come back. After 3 months, I say, you know what? Bye, London. Come and get me to the Everest or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah. I hope that will not happen, but I'd love
Oh,
to hear.
yes, it will happen.
I'd love to hear that from you.
It will happen, I think.
Yeah.
Everybody sees us as a final product. It shows you got a book that says, no, this is just the first step of something that I don't know where it's going to finish, something that I completely have no idea and I don't want to know. I just want to do it and see what comes at the end. You can imagine, you can have an idea of what it could be, but at the moment it's just the first step. It needs to be more, to be talking really about the big project. At the moment it's just a small project that starts growing up. And everything that touches is just really huge. You cannot do a small book with it, you need to do a big book, so the exhibition obviously is going to be big on a space because it's just and that's probably the most difficult thing for me to understand. Because I don't understand how big or small it is. I know it's big because I need space. You know, if I have 100 books in my place, it's just full up. I need to go out and I want to stay at home. But I don't have a sense of reality with the project or with the book. I know what I want, I'm doing it. If I think on the reality of the project, I wouldn't be doing it. Because it's so many things in the middle that could be taken as problems or whatever. You say, okay, why am I still doing it after 15 years? I really don't know. I just still doing it because I do it and because people that wants to play around with it and people that wants to have a dialogue with me between the images, between what they do on top of it. And I don't know, it's their known that I actually like in the whole project. Okay. Come down. Oh, I read downstairs. Always just
met Antonio quite early on. I think when he came to England to try and document the artists over here, I just thought it was really intriguing. I thought it would be very interesting to find out how somebody would see me as an artist by taking the original photograph. And then it was really to rise to the challenge to see what I would do to actually put forward what is quite a multifaceted practice. How am I going to capture that in one snapshot so that Antonio has a real sense of who I think I am? I did have to think about it for a short time. I did sort of play around a little bit with a few false starts, but I'm pretty happy with what I finally came up with. I think for me it was just the thought process. It was being able to linger and actually think of myself as how I project myself as an artist. Because normally I'm just doing it. I'm not having to think about that. So that was the important part of being part of this project. But then it grew, and as it grew, it just became a very important document, I think. You know, I'm very proud to be part of this great group of artists that have come together now, and to watch what everybody else did is fascinating. And the fact that there's going to be other volumes, I just now think it's a really important historical document. I think it's a moment in time in the world with artists all doing their own practice, and you get a little snapshot of each one of them. I just think that's a fantastic idea.
My name is Hervé Constant, and I just wanted to say to Antonio, well done, congratulations. I'm very pleased to see the book. I mean, it's beautiful and really it's a success, and hopefully the project will keep going on. Then well done, and again, congratulations.
Something very difficult because you are inside the thing. I cannot step out and see it. For me, it's just the book is in a way for me to show me that how much it weighs the project. You know, how much I don't know how to explain it. It's just basically I don't know how to explain anything about the project. I don't know if I explain it, I probably wouldn't do it, because I wouldn't be doing it.
Sí, he visto al niño que lo va cortando. Mira, este se ha pintado alas. Este se ha pintado alas.
It's quite a long time now since I first met Antonio to discuss this project from portrait to self-portrait. And I'll never forget that meeting because I thought it'd be really quick, that I'd just pop in and have a little drink and a cup of coffee and I'd be out and we'd have decided whether or not I'd participate in about 20 minutes. But it wasn't like that at all. We talked and talked and talked, had a long lunch. He told me about his project. I left that meeting so full of admiration. He gave me the most wonderful reading list, and the intelligence and his enthusiasm was really brilliant, wonderfully inspiring, and I was really, really happy to participate in this. I think it's a lovely project and I'm proud to be in it, so that's nice.
I was intrigued and honoured to be contacted by Antonio with his invitation to share in his photographic project. The idea that he would produce a piece of work, his art and then hand it over to me with a plan I should add, embellish, even with the huge potential of ruining, actually. After all, he knew nothing of my work. What a risk. So, nervous but intrigued, I was game. So his time generously given, I was happy to give mine, and I was enormously excited to be working with him across material boundaries, because I do amateur photography, and it's always linked with my craft. I do stitch into my primitive pictures, images, and here was a chance to work with somebody who knows what they're doing, and so into his photo. So thank you so much, really, to Elsa Peretti Foundation and to Antonio. Very generous and courageous of him to include us all. The thoughts of the finished product, I'm absolutely amazed. It's an unbelievably generous book, and a beautiful book, beautifully produced. Certainly be the biggest, most special book in my collection of books. A lot of art books, I've got nothing there, brand.
Don't ask me those questions. I'm weird from Carlos saying, you don't know what?
I think this is a question that everybody asks Antonio. Who introduced me to Antonio? I can't remember. It was 5 years ago. And he appeared and he said, could I take your photograph? Tell me about the project. And I thought it sounded really interesting. He came to my studio and then took these photographs and then I did what I did to mine and I introduced him to somebody else and then that was it. And that was how I met him. I think it's an amazing project, very visionary and well done, Antonio. I think it's quite an extraordinary vision, actually. I love the fact that one artist introduces to another, so it's a sort of quite random journey. You know, the actual concept is great, and the linkage is very interesting.
Antonio mugged me about 5-6 years ago. I'm a photographer working in London and took time out. He took my picture, collected it a week later, and then went home, worked on it, dropped it back the next week. And that was the end of my involvement, really. But I have to say, he's a lovely man, and the book's fantastic.
I met Antonia through a friend, and she introduced me to the project, and I liked the idea. And he came, and I liked the man as well. He took a photo, and you never quite know how a photo turns out, but it turned out quite all right. And I quite enjoyed doing some work on it, and it's surprising what you come up with when you actually put on the spot. And then I didn't hear very much for many, many years, but I had the trust that Antonio would actually come back to me and probably do something with the book and with the photos. And here I am now excited that he has actually put it all together in a beautiful, beautiful book with lots of people, and it shows great spirit. It shows he has a great sense for working together, not being competitive, but bringing artists together who normally work in a lot of isolation. And in this case, he has brought them together to work and produce something really beautiful, which a singular person could not have achieved. So I'm very, very proud to have been part of it.
I'm extremely proud to be involved in this project, which has been so long coming to fruition. It looks wonderful, and I think it's great to see so many diverse responses to the very great photos.
Es curioso ver cómo se pinta la gente. Sí, me gusta cuando lo ven.
I don't feel the project is mine. I don't feel possessive about the project. It's not my project, it's the project of thousands of people by now, even if it's only 242 in the first one. It's more than 1,000 people that's been involved on developing, on talking, on chatting, on giving you a command go ahead, or just saying nothing but leaving you so far to sleep, you know, and without asking questions on why you do that and you're not working in another place, in a 9-to-5 job. And I don't know, it's a way of living in a way. I decided to do it like that, and that's it. The original work, obviously I don't want it for me and I don't want to sell it. So it needs to be done, it needs to be given to someone, it needs to be given to a museum, to whatever it is. Because I think that, apart that I'm dealing with faces and with humans, there is something that actually goes away from the artist and from me, and I think a project like that just doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the public, it belongs to the society. And at the end, it's a kind of a document on today's artists or whatever. You know, it's not one person, it's more. So I think things like that, they shouldn't be on private hands, they should be public. And I'll do it, it doesn't matter, I'll do it. Anyone can do it, you just need to do it.
I got involved with Antonio because he came to my studio, and he obviously knew my name, and he asked me if I would like to take part. At the beginning I thought the project was going to be a very small thing, perhaps just a fancy that he had. And little by little I realized it was actually quite a big project, and he's dedicated a long time to it. And I was really quite impressed. I'm even more impressed now that I've seen the results. I think I really admire him for his perseverance, and also for the warmth that he has to approach people. And he's very endearing and very appealing person, so it's very difficult to say no to him. I think it's been really good fun, and I'm very happy to have taken part in this project.
I was contacted by Antonio because he contacted my studio. So somebody else who's in the book is also part of my studios in Dalston, called the Dalston Underground Studios, and I thought, this is a very interesting project. So he came round and photographed me as the character I play in a band called Lonesome Cowboys from Hell, and so I thought, what's going to happen to it? He gets sent these things, nothing happens. And he kept up a dialogue with me for so long that it was just very interesting when I got the print. I wasn't even expecting to get the print. And then eventually I got it together to send him the work, and I thought, well, what's going to happen? Maybe I won't hear anything. And then it's just been very interesting, Antonio, just that whole thing about keeping people in contact, making it a sort of group artwork, which I thought was extremely very interesting thing for him to do. So I'm so glad to be here today and see the final work.
I was really excited when Antonio asked me to do this. You know, it's been a long project for him, and we talked about it, and I was really pleased when he actually asked me to take part. The lovely thing is there was no influence whatsoever. It's totally free, very trusting thing to do. It's an important project for him. So I was fairly nervous handing in my my artwork, but it was totally. He was always very happy with it. So that element of trust, not knowing what he was letting himself in for, I thought that was amazing. I would never have really thought about doing it myself. I would never have taken a picture of myself and done this project on my own steam. There would have been something a bit sort of weird about doing that. But it was like a free license in a way. Antonio did it. And it was kind of quite empowering in a way. It's very narcissistic, I suppose. It was like a free license to be quite vain. But at the same time, what I did with my artwork was like the nemesis of that. It's a complete disguise. At the end of it, I'm just really happy to be part of it. I'm really happy that it's come to this lovely event in the gallery, and it's just amazing to see all these people brought together by Antonio's projects.
I met Antonio, 2005 at Central St. Martin's when I just graduated, and Yeah, I think it's been a fantastic project with Antonio because his portrait of me, I mean, I had it lying on my shelf for about 4 years, didn't know what to do with it. You know, how do you see yourself? It's kind of strange for an artist, somebody who's working in a studio all by themselves. So, it was nice for me to just sit down and spend about, you know, couple of hours thinking about what I'm going to do with it, you know. So I put lots of slip on it, and no, I think it's been a fantastic project working with Antonio, and, you know, it's, thank you, Antonio, for making me see myself. Thank you very much, and all the best.
J'ai rencontré Antonio grâce à une exposition que j'avais vue en Normandie et je me suis intéressé à l'exposition. C'était pas très courant de voir un artiste espagnol en Normandie, donc j'ai été voir, c'est comme ça que j'ai rencontré Antonio. Ça a été très simple et pas très compliqué. On s'est rencontrés, on a passé une bonne petite après-midi ensemble et il m'a proposé directement de faire mon portrait. Et à partir de là, il me l'a envoyé direct en Belgique. Et j'y ai travaillé, j'ai travaillé sur ce portrait. Et me voici à l'exposition pour lui rendre son portrait terminé.
Well, someone suggested to Antonio that he might like to come along to see me and my friend Bev in our studio. So he did. I don't think he'd seen our work before. And this terribly charming chap came along, took photographs with a minimum of fuss. And it was a beautiful casual thing, and he said okay, and then sometime later the photographs came in the post. We did our thing on them, and I think Antonio come and collected them, and it was, you know, I wasn't really expecting a great deal from it, really. I didn't know anything about it, and I kind of almost forgot about it, really. And then this happened, and I've just seen the book, and I think it's an absolutely beautiful thing, and I'm terribly proud to be a part of it. And I think it's just, you know, it's like the labour of Hercules, the effort and the integrity, I think, that the chap put into it. So, yeah, good thing all round.
I've met Antonio a few years ago. He's a lovely man, and I would like to just say that this is great. This is a great piece of work. I'm very proud to be a part of it. I come from advertising, so for me this is very refreshing. This is not about brands, this is not about buying and selling shit. This is art, and this is a portrait, the purest form of art that an artist gets to do, I guess. It's coming from an art college as well. It was very refreshing to get to do this. And I wish I could do more of this kind of stuff. And I'm very happy for everybody here, for Antonio, everybody involved. This is great. Amazing.
I cannot explain the end, the final thing, because I don't know. I don't know what's going to be. I don't know who's going to win the project. I don't know who's going to be at the end of the next project. And I think that's, for me, is the most interesting bit, is that they are known, you know, just to go and meet people that I don't know, that I didn't know either existed, to go to the studios, to have a chat with them. Obviously on a personal level that has no, you can say nothing, it's just learning and learning and learning and learning all the time. At one moment you could be tired, you can be really tired on learning, and then you need to stop. The curiosity is bigger than the rest, so it just takes me to go, to go towards it. And I follow the project since the beginning by instinct. Someone called me, oh, why don't you come to Valencia, or come to Madrid, or come to London, or go to Nepal? I will always say yes. I don't know what's at the end of that. I do not even know the beginning. I just know that the action is done. It's yes, okay, I'm going to do it. Where it comes, I don't know, and I really don't care. You know, it's just whatever I'm going to do is going to be good or bad. I don't know. I cannot judge. And even in judgments, I think we tend to judge the things we're doing now as the best things we ever did. And it's just a step on, because what we did today, we did that not the same thing, a similar thing we did a year before, or 6 months before. So it's just a step, it's another step. It's showing now I don't see an end to the project, I don't see an end. I know one day I'm going to die, but when I die, the project finishes with me, but it doesn't finish, it will stay, because other people behind, there's the books and there's other things. But I do want the original word to be given, and obviously, a project, if you can, with the dimension that I have, if there are only other editions of the book or whatever, or it generates money after the first 1,000 is done, that will go into charity, into the charity of free schools, and into the art, because I think it's a way that you create a project that can generate a lot of money. But I think that what it generates, it needs to go back into the society to create the possibility of people that has not the possibility to get into the art world or to know something about the art world because they don't have the medium to do it. I think that's the best way to do it. Just open that way for them and make them possible to do things that otherwise they couldn't. And the museum that will accept to do that, they will need to accept part of the donation goes with the condition that will always be some relation to the charity. It's not charity because you're giving back. It's not that you're giving a charity to someone. I don't know, things are still confusing. I will see when I arrive there. At the moment, I'm just trying to enjoy it. It's just a book. After 15 years of work, not me, but the other